Hello, this is a free call from
Hey, it's Gypsy.
an offender at the Chillicothe Correctional Center.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. If you would like to permanently block your number from receiving calls from this facility, press 6. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello, is this Dr. Fabian?
Hi, Gypsy. This is Lauren, actually, one of the producers. How are you this morning?
Hi, Lauren. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Before you get started and talk to Dr. Fabian, I just have to have you say that you know you're being taped for a doc series for Category 6 Lifetime. That's it.
Okay, I know I'm being taped for a documentary for Category 6.
Awesome. Okay, hang on one second. I'm going to hand you over to Dr. Fabian, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, let's go. Okay, so, yeah. You're looking for the picture. Okay. And then, Gypsy, you can just start again, like you said, it's just Dr. Fabian, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
My laptop out of the way. What are we doing with the laptop?
Let's just put it on the side. I don't need it. Unless you need it.
Hey, Gypsy, how are you?
Hi, is this Dr. Fabian?
Yeah, John Fabian, Dr. John Fabian. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. I was going to introduce myself. I work as a forensic psychologist and a neuropsychologist. Your lawyer, Mike Stanfield, had contacted me after your arrest, and he requested that I evaluate you and be your expert for your case.
Okay.
And he told me a lot about, you told me a lot about your case, and then he was able to secure a really good plea bargain for you, and told me that I wasn't needed because you had pled guilty. And I did learn quite a bit about your case prior to that, because I was going to prepare to actually evaluate you. So, as they're doing another TV documentary, so people can learn more about this type of case since it's so unusual. And you're on board with that, right?
I am. I'm very hopeful to advocate for, what I went through and for, other people that probably are going through the same thing, but they really just don't know what's really going on. And that's why I think it's important for me to do this documentary and for people to learn about what all it entails so people can educate themselves.
I think that's very helpful. I know this is, in many ways, can be re-traumatizing for you, and I can't imagine, what you've been through, but I think this is really good for the public just to be educated on, these, especially, Munchausen by proxy, or what we call factitious disorder, to another person. And it's such a rare, psychiatric disorder phenomenon that your mother suffered from, and that you suffered from as well. I think that learning more about this and again educating the public is a good thing to do, and hopefully it's healing for you as well.
Yes, I think it will be.
Excellent. Well, I had some questions for you, and they I have a lot of questions for you. These are some of them that I would have been asking you. I would evaluate, if I was going to be evaluating you for trial.
Okay.
So, well, first of all, how are you doing right now?
I'm doing good. I'm about to see my dad and my stepmom in about, I want to say, an hour. I haven't seen my dad in about 3 years. COVID was going on, so there was no visitation or anything. So I'm excited right now to see them and hug them because it's been so long.
Right, and have you been developing your relationship with your father and stepmother?
I have. In the beginning, I was a little mistrusting of them both, to be honest, because of everything my mother had told me about my dad and about Christy. She told me so many things, bad things about them, that when I got arrested, I really didn't know who to trust. I didn't even trust Mike. My own
This call is
attorney.
from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
That little recording's going to come on every once in a while, and I do have to call back every 15 minutes, just so you know.
Thank you.
But ever since then, we've had a good, 7 years to get to know each other, and I have built a relationship with Chrissy a little bit better than with my dad, because my dad is always working, and so I call Christy the majority of the time, and I've been able to talk to her and share a lot of the things that I hold inside with her. And then when my prison got an email system to where I can email my dad even whenever he's at work, that strengthened our relationship and kind of gave me leadway to open up to him. And so in the last year or so, I felt like me and him hit a breakthrough where I feel like I could be just as honest with him as I am with Christy about everything.
Excellent. Hopefully Christy can, become a mother figure for you over time.
She has already. She's to be honest, she's kind of like the mom that I always wanted but never had.
Yeah. What kind of negative things, did your mother, tell you about your father or instill with you years ago?
She would tell me things like stories. Like she told me that when I was a baby, I was crying in my crib, and my dad came back from the bar drunk, and he was annoyed, and so he picked me up by my throat and threw me across the room at her, and she caught me, and she said that she could hear, because I was on breathing machines at the time, and she said that her memory of that is that she can hear the machines dropping to the ground. And that was a story that she would tell me over and over again. And she would tell me that he wouldn't send me any Christmas gifts or birthday gifts because he spent the money on his new kids, which is my half brother and sister, and just things like that.
Well, we call that parental alienation in family law cases, where your mother was really alienating you from your father. Did you have difficulties trusting your father over time because he never came and saved you and took you away from this horrendous home life with your mother?
Honestly, I just kind of felt like he didn't want anything to do with me. I didn't try to reach out to him because A, I didn't think he would care, and B, I didn't know his phone number or anything. So I didn't try to reach out to him to be my savior. I just didn't think he would care. If he was the kind of man that my mom portrayed him to be, then he wouldn't care about me.
So can I ask you some questions about your mother, Dee Dee?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you were growing up, did you know that she had a criminal background?
No, I did not know that.
Do you know that now?
I know that now, and I was surprised to find out some of that stuff.
Did you ever know how? Did you ever meet your grandmother or Dee Dee's mother?
I have memories of my grandmother from when I was really young. I have this one memory where I was playing makeup and hair with my grandma. I was playing with her hair, putting it in like bows and ribbons and stuff. I was very young.
Did you know about your mother's childhood and how her mother treated her and what their relationship was like?
When I was about, I want to say 14, 15, real age, not the age that my mom was either trying to, fabricate. But she told me stories about whenever she was little, and she would talk about how she felt like since she was the youngest of, her mother's children, that she was favored more, but also had the pressure to try to make her
This call is
parents
from a
proud.
correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
Sorry. The pressure to make her parents proud. And so, whenever she was little, she was just kind of a scrawny kid, didn't really get along with her brothers and sisters. They often played without her. So she felt alone and isolated a lot of the time whenever she was little. And then whenever she was a teenager, she became overweight and then was made fun of for being overweight. And then as she got a little bit older, she became bulimic. This is all stories that she told me. I have no hard facts of this, but this is all what she told me, that she was bulimic. She started, losing weight rapidly, and then she would enter into beauty contests. And that was her moment to shine.
When you were growing up as a child, did you have any sort of internal conflict between the positives of going to, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Habitat for Humanity House, or trips to Disney World versus the real abuse and neglect that your mother was inflicting upon you?
I felt like it wasn't justified or reward enough. I went to Disney World, but my mom didn't let me ride the ride. We went to all like the shows and met the characters. And what a theme park is meant to enjoy the rides and have fun with friends. I felt like it was fun for what I knew, but now knowing what I know now, it's not at all reward enough for the abuse that I went through, and I didn't feel like it was reward enough then either.
So when you went to these doctors, do you know if your mother ever had drugged you, and did she ever coach you to what to say?
She would give me some liquid medication before every doctor's appointment. One was like a purple color, and then another one was a pinkish color. And I got really sleepy afterwards. And she would tell me don't move your legs, just sit there, play with your Barbie doll, play with your stuffed animal, and just don't be hyper. That's a big thing that she always used to say. Don't be hyper.
When
You have 1 minute
had,
left.
I'll call you back. I'm gonna call you right back.
oh yeah, great.
Hold on.
Okay.
The caller has hung up.